All right, the right fits. We are back here with another episode, and this is baby. What day is it?
It's the 15th.
It's the 15th of February. Haven't been back with you guys for a minute. It's been, I think, 10 days or 5 days or so. But today I want to give you a kind of a preview of what's going on with the U.S. presidential election, which is getting crazier and crazier by the day. Usually I don't let my politics spill over too much, my political opinions spill over too much, but you're going to get to see a little more of this today just because we're talking about the different opponents, which are going to be Trump and Biden. There's almost no way it's anybody else. RFK, he's having trouble getting on he's even having trouble getting on the ballots in places. So it's unlikely he won't win. But it's very unlikely he'll have a huge impact on the election. Now, will he take more votes from Trump? Will he take more votes from Biden? That's been a big discussion. But either way, I don't think that'll be a huge. I don't think that'll have huge implications on actually who wins the election. And then the other ones, Cornel West, Marianne Williamson, they're not gonna have really any effect at all. So, bye, baby. So I think, it's just Trump versus Biden. It looks like a repeat of last election, but it's very different in how this has happened. Trump was the incumbent. Now he's not the incumbent, right? And, our country has not, so let's see, so my opinion of Biden has changed over his term. I thought he initially started pretty strong. You could tell he had cognitive problems from the beginning, but you could tell they've gotten considerably worse since he's been in this high stress job over the 4 years. Okay, and Trump's kind of had this time to recuperate. Now, he's had all these indictments come at him, which the Democrats are doing this politically. Granted, he did do some things illegal. I'm not saying he didn't do some things illegal, but our presidents do illegal shit all the time. I see, we're not putting George Bush, right? We're not charging George Bush for not getting congressional approval to go into, Afghanistan or whatever. You know what I mean? So he can bomb another country, but Trump can't overvalue the prices of his house or something. So it is political. And I'm not for Trump. I was during the 2016 election definitely for Bernie. Really liked his change. I'm very anti-establishment. So I believe the mainstream of both the Democratic and the Republican Party are absolutely the worst thing for our country. I call them the uniparty. The Democrats and Republicans that all think alike on war, right? They all want more war. None of them are conservative on spending, neither Democrats or Republicans. They increase that war budget every single year. They never trickle up. They've both screamed trickle down economics since Bill Clinton, and it's never actually trickled down to the people who need it, right? So right now with the Trump indictments, they seem so far to not be able to hurt him. If anything, they actually have given him a boost, and definitely given his base a boost to show a reason why they are politically persecuting him. And they are, in a way. If he was not president, if he wasn't running again, they would treat these totally different. And just in one of the Georgia election, the election fraud case, the prosecutor just got caught sleeping with another one of the prosecutors. So that might blow up the whole thing, and Trump might win because of that. So the Democrats are just as illegitimate and not representing the people as the Republicans. The uniparty, it's the same thing, right? Same thing with the war on drugs. They both want to continue the war on drugs. Same thing with healthcare. No one wants to give healthcare to everybody. Same thing. That's exactly why the Democrats were more afraid and I heard this on MSNBC, the Democrats were more afraid of Bernie Sanders than they were of Donald Trump. Because though Donald Trump is this bad, vulgar, evil Democrat in their mind, he's not a socialist like Bernie. And socialism means Stalin, in these crazy boomer heads, right? Because boomers lived through the Cold War where propaganda was pushed to them nonstop. And still to this day, right, we have huge Russophobia, right? Fear against Russians, even though they're a capitalistic country right now, which is hilarious. You even see the way they reacted to Tucker Carlson's interview, calling him like treasonous and stuff. And it's like, how about you actually listen to the guy and try to look at another perspective other than your own? I know that's impossible for a lot of Americans, but again, you see this uniparty happening in and Bernie Sanders was against part of that. He was an independent, which is a good sign. But he essentially let his power go and he endorsed Bernie Sanders. And they railroaded him. Both elections. The second election, they literally Bernie was in the lead, if you remember, in the primaries for the Democrats. But they literally, the whole Democratic Party rigged it so that everybody dropped out just so Biden could pump ahead of him, and he barely did, right? So they got rid of democracy at that moment. They were afraid Trump would take away democracy, so they took away democracy for themselves. Such irony. And Bernie lost, and since then Bernie's just been endorsing them and not fighting back against them, which has been a huge blow to me. Now you look at what we're dealing with now, which is Donald Trump and Biden. And Biden, again, I think he started out decent, forgiving college loans, but he didn't follow through with that. So that's a huge failure, okay? He pulled out of Afghanistan. That was great. Might have not been done in the best way, but there is no good way to do it. But that's, out of the whole Afghanistan war, that's the best part of the Afghanistan war. That's the most accomplished thing we ever did, was pulling out. So good for Biden on that. I thought he was doing decent at that point, but then he let the student loan thing go, and not only letting the student loan thing go, he didn't fight for and to get it back, because he can do that unilaterally just with presidential power. So that was another big loss for him. He really hasn't done anything. He's been a repeat of what Obama did. Immigration has spiked. The economy has, seen this inflation that's been crazy. And I know that's partly because of Trump and all the stimulus, but he's not president anymore. And the thing is, everybody from the Democratic side is establishment. I'm anti-establishment. The only person on the Republican side that's anti-establishment is Trump. And no matter how much Trumpers don't want to agree with this, he actually has a lot of establishment tendencies. Let's be honest, he became a billionaire in the establishment, right? But he does realize there are things that need to be done differently. For example, our forever wars, right? I do believe he would be able to help end the Ukraine-Russia war pretty quickly. Obviously, the rest of our military establishment doesn't want this war to end. This is the best thing possible. We don't care about Ukrainian lives. 500,000 Ukrainians have died, but we don't care. And because Biden won't pull us out of that and stop spending our money there, because Biden won't tell Netanyahu in Israel to stop, he's going to lose the election. If he did those two things, he'd win the election. If he legalized marijuana along with that, he'd win the election. If he pulled out of Iraq, he'd win the election. very simple things that he could do by himself, right? But he refuses to do them, right? Because he's part of the uniparty, the party that's against drugs, the party that's for war, the party that needs the status quo to happen. See, this is what happened. This is why Donald Trump, in my opinion, will win this next election, okay? And even if he is a little bit more establishment than he appears, he comes across as anti-establishment. He comes across as, I'm not this guy, okay? I'm not like this person, okay? I'm not like the rest of these people. I'm not like the rest of these politicians, all right? So, because of that, he has a huge base, and he's going to carry over voters that essentially were lied to by Biden and Obama. Obama was the change person. This even goes back to Clinton. Carter was the last Democrat who actually had a vastly different approach and was for the workers and against war in the Democratic Party. But the Republicans won, and the Democrats thought, we need to be tough on crime. We need to be tough on drugs. We need to be tough. We need to become more warlike so we can win over some of those voters. So since Bill Clinton, right, who at least was good economically, not good militaristically, he was the start of this right-wing push in the Democratic Party. And now, with Obama was for hope and change, which never came, obviously. He was not even good for black Americans. He and this Obama or Biden is just a continuation of the status quo, because that's how they make money. They think about how much money Obama went into office with, and think about how much money he came out of office with when he only makes $500,000 a year or whatever. It's not right, right? The system's rigged, and they're stealing money from us, right? They take bribes, right? It's called lobbying. We know it's legalized bribery. We allow it in this country. We need to get rid of it, okay? But Trump says he's against that stuff. He obviously does take bribes and donations, but he says he's against that stuff. He is a little bit self-funding. I think he just kind of says that, but I don't think he actually spends too much of his own money. But right now, with it being between Biden and Trump, I cannot get myself to vote for Biden. Not only is he mentally compromised, but he is also just not making the right decisions. He's bowing down to Israel. Israel controls our Congress more than our president does. You know, they have more influence here than our president does. He's just a weak old man, which happens to everybody over time. And maybe at one time he would have been a little better, but he always was a war hawk. He has the unilateral power to stop both of these wars, but he refuses to because he's part of the uniparty. And the only one who wants to stop these wars right now seems to be Trump. Now, Trump would be good for the Ukraine war, I believe. I don't think he would be good for the Israeli war. He was with the Israelis and against the Palestinians the whole time he was in office. But hopefully he has some humanity that the other presidents don't, and says, look, Netanyahu, you got to stop at some point, because what Israel's trying to do is obviously get them out of Gaza, putting them into the Sinai in the desert in Egypt, and take the rest of that land. You can call it genocide, you can call it forced removal, you can call it just bombing the shit out of a group that attacked you once. I don't care. Yeah, they did a terrorist attack against you, but that doesn't give you the right to just do whatever the fuck you want. And that has huge implications on this election. Biden will not get reelected, maybe just because of his support of Israel. The American people aren't happy. Yes, there are a lot of high-powered people that don't mind the war. The people at the CEOs at Raytheon, you know, the people who have ties to Israel, you know, a lot of high-powered Jewish people, you know, that are at the top of like the New York Times and stuff. They're completely for continuing this war, and they'll use all their money to continue this war. It's just so sad that you see these Israelis or these Israeli allied people manipulating and using the Jewish religion to manipulate the American president to do all this funding that we don't have the money to send over there. We need to save, we need to rebuild those houses in Maui. We need to take care of the people in California that just got mudslided out, right? We need to take care of our farmers, our poor people. We need to raise our minimum wage. It's $7.25 here. It's $20 in Australia. Is Australia some greater society than us? Maybe some people think so. I thought we were the people who say we're the greatest country on earth. They'll never say we should raise it to $20 an hour. So they must be lying or something. But just a little more on this election. It's Biden, it's Trump. Again, it looks like 2016. Trump is the change candidate. Biden, like Obama, has refused to change, and people are not having it. And so I think it's pretty obvious, and the polls all reflect this, that Trump is going to win, hate it or love it. Do I hate it or love it? Right now, I usually vote more Democratic, at least with their policies, but they've been so feckless and so weak. I'm at least, and I do think Donald Trump is to the left of most Republicans. I think most Republicans are absolutely crazy. He's at least more moderate on a lot of things. So right now, it's kind of crazy for me to say this because, I was definitely against him in the 2016 and 2020 election. I actually wanted to see Biden do something good, and he started out with Afghanistan and then shit the bed after that. And it's probably just because he's too old. But yeah, so as of now, I can't believe I'm saying this, but Donald Trump, I think, will win. And I don't vote because I'm in Indiana, which is a red state. My vote doesn't matter here. And to be honest, I don't believe we live in a very democratic system, so I don't know how much my vote actually matters. It doesn't with the Electoral College in a red state, obviously. But, we'll see. Comment on this, like, subscribe, send this to your friends, you guys. Try to get this out everywhere. I'm trying to make this my full-time job, so I love you guys. Thank you.